Hello and welcome to SOMC podcast. As we know, the topic of this semester is Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, past, present, and future. This week's podcast has an interesting topic sports. Although not the ones you thought. We'll be speaking about India's own regional and lesser known sports like Kanche, Malakham, Lagori, and more. May I ask, how many of you all know about the cricket matches going on?
We do.
Yeah, the Asia Cup.
Asia Cup.
Okay. Now, how many of you all know about the kabaddi matches held earlier this year?
No, not quite into that.
Okay. On that note, I would like to introduce Saloni Palkar, Arya Sinha, and Aryan Kelkar, who will be sharing their views with us today. Let's start with some questions. So, the first question is, what is one underrated sport according to you and why? Saloni, would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure. So I think one underrated sport, according to me, today is javelin. Uh, it is an on-field sport where a spear of about 2.5 meter is thrown, and people, including me, didn't know about javelin throw until Neeraj Chopra, as we all know, received a gold medal in the recent Olympic Games.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's that time when people actually started taking interest in the sport just by looking up to him. And I also believe that javelin throw was added to the ancient Olympic Games as a part of the pentathlon in 708 BC.
Wow.
And after that, it's been brought to light just because of Neeraj Chopra in our country.
Yes, that is right. That is really informative. Even I got to know about javelin throw after Neeraj Chopra won it. What would you like to say, Arya?
Okay, so like for me, the underrated sport is triathlon because it consists of three sports in one, which is cycling, swimming, and running. It's an endurance sport altogether. The entire distance consists of like 3.8 kilometers of swimming, then 180 kilometers of cycling, and followed by 42 kilometers of running, which is
God.
a
Yeah.
lot.
It's
That
a
is a
lot.
lot.
And for this year's Commonwealth Games, our tag team triathlon team were in the top 10, which has never happened before, and it was so overwhelming for me. And I'm pretty sure they inspired youths to take up triathlon. And one more thing that I would like to add is one of the most beloved or the most known triathlon event is Ironman. It's called Ironman, and if you guys know Milind Soman.
Yeah, obviously.
Obviously.
So like Milind Soman is one of those guys who participates in Ironman. So yeah.
That is really great. I got to know about triathlon from one of the movies, Student of the Year.
Yeah.
You must
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
hear. Yeah. So, Aryan, what is your opinion on this?
So, according to me, one of the most underrated sports in India has to be Kho because it's a traditional sport. It's a traditional Indian sport, but it has two things that brings it to the limelight, in my opinion. That is, it's one of the oldest sport that was played in India. Not only pre-independence, it was there in the ancient India as well. And the second is, it's one of the most popular traditional sport which is played in the villages of India, along with kabaddi. So that's why I think Kho is one of the most underrated sports in India.
Yes. I agree with all of your opinions, and I would like to ask the second question now. Do you feel Western culture has overpowered our Indian culture since independence in terms of sports? Saloni, what do you think about this?
Yeah, so as we all know, um, right after independence, globalization was introduced in our country, which brought interconnectedness and which also led to creation of new ideas and new concepts, especially Western concepts. Like Western style of dressing, the concept of privacy. So yeah, I do believe that Western culture has overpowered our Indian culture, and people are losing touch of Indian culture. So in regards to sports, just like Aryan was talking about Kho, or in fact any other old sport like Kabaddi, all these games are ignored today, and badminton or football, etc., are played on a larger scale. So yeah.
Very true, very true. Arya, what would you like to say about this?
Yeah, so I do agree with Saloni. So, like, before the British rule, India dominated field hockey up until 1960
Oh.
with 7 golds and 1 silver.
Oh my god.
Great.
Yeah, the hockey team was virtually invincible. And now, the thing is, in 2019, hockey was officially removed as a national sport. Yeah, I know.
That's
We
bad.
don't have a national sport
Yeah.
anymore. It was because hockey was losing its viewership and its importance, so yeah.
Sad.
Okay. Aryan, what would you like to say about this?
So yeah, I completely agree, and I think I'll speak against the point that it has definitely the Western culture has definitely affected the Indian traditional culture. I'll give my own personal example. In our school, let's say about 7 years ago, there were inter-school kho matches that were being conducted, and schools from Pune used to come there and play kho. But later, it was replaced with inter-school cricket and football matches. So
That is really
not
sad.
only exactly, so not only kho, but as Saloni said, kabaddi, malakham, and many other Indian regional sports are losing their importance. They are going out of limelight, and this is like a direct effect of the Western culture that we are seeing right now.
I would like to add something.
Yeah.
So, back in my school days, when I was in school, our school was celebrating the 25th anniversary. So, we had this topic called Incredible India, where we celebrated all kinds of things in India. So, we also celebrated all the underrated sports. So, like, we did Malkham, rope Malkham, gymnastics. So, I learned about gymnastics that there are 2 particular type of gymnastics for women, artistic and aerial, which
Oh.
was really like amazing. You get to do it, and honestly, in my opinion, gymnastics is one of the most toughest sport.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
true. So talking about schools, in my school as well, we had shot put on our sports day, which I got to know through sports day organized in our school. But later I found out that that shot put is not seen on any greater platforms or even on television. So yeah, I was really disappointed. But yeah.
It's a good thing that our schools promote underrated
Yeah,
sports.
Yeah.
they need to.
My school was mostly focused on, mainstream sports like basketball and football. So yeah, I would like more schools to, promote these underrated sports.
Exactly.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so it's time for the last question. What should be the approach to bring underrated Indian sports to light, considering the fact that cricket is the most viewed? Silvani?
In my opinion, the first thing that can be done is to bring awareness among us common people first, talking about it amongst our friends, our families, etc. Then I think it can be introduced and organized on greater sport platforms like Olympics, Commonwealth, Decathlon, etc.
Right. Arya?
I do agree with Saloni. Like, we should start with organizing small scale events for triathlon, give awareness about the sport in our schools, colleges, and university. Just one more example that I would like to give is cinema. Like,
Yeah.
how cinema has the power to move people. Like, we have seen so many movies regarding sports, and that inspired people to take up the sport and like go ahead with it. So,
Dhoni,
yeah.
Maricom.
Yeah.
Very inspirational movies. What would you like to say, Aryan?
So my point is that let me read out something from Wikipedia. It says that playing Kho keeps the player well, motivated, enthusiastic. It increases coordination and flexibility. Given the fact that all of this is out there on the internet where people can read it, but people don't, because as Saloni and Arya mentioned, the key word is awareness. We need to spread it to such an extent where the audience or the person who is reading it is not only aware but is also interested about what the sport is, how is it played, how can it be beneficial to us. So the awareness needs to be spread in a way where the people are also interested.
Okay, so like one more thing I have to add, like at the end of the day, sports, it's good for our body, it's good for our soul, it's good for our mind. So like, why not do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
It's good for the long
Consider-
run. Yeah.
Considering any kind of sport.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's good for the
It's
long
good
run.
for the physical health, and with good physical health comes good mental health. So
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
true.
overall a really good thing.
Yeah.
Wow, guys, that was an insightful conversation. And right before we end, I would like to add that I hope in the future these so-called underrated sports won't be as underrated as they are now and come to a spotlight of sorts like hockey and kabaddi have done recently. I thank each one of you for being here and sharing your thoughts and opinions, and I'm hoping to see you all again soon.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for listening. Stay tuned for another interesting and robust podcast next week. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Namaste.